What's up, White Whale? I see Gabe is the first one in here to let everybody know he's still 10 minutes out. We wouldn't expect anything else, Gabe. But I guess I'll shut the door now that I know you're still 10 minutes out. Oh. So what's everybody been up to? I know White Whale is about the same as we are here in Missouri, so I'm sure you're making it past that little transition period, probably starting to head out a little bit deeper, I'm sure. I'll say swim jigs have still been killing here. Oklahoma, that's right, dude. I hear you. And I see you just posted your video. I'm going to have to go check that out afterwards. So if anybody is not on Oklahoma's Worst Anglers page, trust me, you want to go check out his video he just dropped about 15 minutes ago. It's going to be well worth the watch. I'm a little jealous, I'll just say that. I sound like an old man. Yeah. We're used to it, Gabe. It's all right. And you've only got like, what, another year before you hit 50, right? Oh, I sound like an old man. Oh, whatever. Tom's on his way to catch some fish at the lake. Watch after this live stream. The video will be there when it's over. Yep, definitely. Yep, it's going to be well worth the watch. That's for sure. I can't wait to watch it. So, wait till we get a couple more people in here. Just getting going. So, I think we're gonna. As soon as Gabe gets here, I think we're going to talk a little bit about how often we do the live streams and stuff, especially with everything else going on. So we're getting overrun pretty bad. There was a tourney at Clearwater yesterday. It didn't fish, but it took 28 pounds. Second was, holy crap. I'll tell you what, Denny, that lake's, it's producing pretty good. I'll say that. Every time we fish it, it's always late in the year, like September. And it's hit or miss. I mean, we never have that good of tournaments down there. I wonder, is that a lot of largemouth or is that smallmouth included? Because I hear, in the springtime, the smallmouth down there are what wins a lot of the tournaments. And it takes an easy 20, 21 pounds to win those. So just curious if a lot of them are largemouth or if it's a mix. Some still had eggs. Huh. I'm surprised. I would assume that water would have been pretty dingy to where it'd get warmer a little bit faster this year, but maybe not. Largemouth? Okay. Huh. Maybe once my boat gets fixed, I'll actually be down there. So that's where it's at. It's down by Clearwater. So I'll plan on fishing a little bit while I go pick it up. Hopefully it's done pretty soon. Oh, let's see here. It was 80 last week. Man. I know that lake is usually about a week or two behind most of the other lakes because of it being so clear, but it seems like it heated up right with the rest of them, though. It's good, though. So as soon as Gabe gets here, we're going to start on missing bites and good baits for follow-up, frog misses and stuff like that. Out here, frogs really hitting at Gabe's favorite lake. Man, they're always hitting at that lake on a frog. Of course, like I said, we fish a lot of grass lakes, so frogs pretty common to throw about 7 or 8 months out of the year, really. There's a lot of people once summer kind of tapers off and they get into that fall transition there, man, they'll put the frog down a lot of times. But I tell you what, that's usually when you can get some good frog bites, especially all the way into like November. Some guys are going into December, stuff like that. So CTR says, is Gabe running late because he's ironed his pink shirt? No, he won't have it on tonight. But I tell you what, that should have been in the middle of it. That should have been, he had to wear it for wear it for one of the live streams. But I was actually talking to my wife today. I think she was working on it. So hopefully she'll get it up and going for him so he can, hopefully we can get big enough letters on the back so everybody can read it. White Will says, Greg, what is your go-to frog? That would depend on how thick of vegetation. Open water, I'm going with that Terminator frog, the KVD Terminator frog. I really, really like that frog. It's a real slender design. It's not a real fat body. It's just real narrow. It's got a good pop in front to it. I really like it. And the body itself is very, very soft. It collapses real easy. That is probably one out of maybe 3 frogs I've ever had that I never had to tip the hooks up and out. It had a good hookup ratio from the time it came out of the package. The body was soft. It worked really well. As far as the mats go, heavy stuff like that, to be honest with you, I really like that ish frog, that Fat Daddy frog. It's a little bit wider body. I think it kind of holds you up on top of the vegetation a little bit better. And you can, once you get it out past the vegetation, that real wide body like that, it walks very, very easy. I really like that. So I say it's probably my 2 go-tos right there. Do I always throw pop? Nope, I don't always throw popping. Like I said, the vegetation, I don't. That's more of a up close to the bank. If I can get up underneath overhanging trees, stuff like that, I like the popping frog. But if it's thick vegetation, stuff like that, like I said, I'll go with that ish frog. I really like that one. Then he said Perry heard him Friday, all dinks. Yeah, I kind of figured that was coming. That's pretty typical for this time of year, though. I mean, around here, you'll get that about that 3 weeks to 4 week period there. You'll catch a lot of dinks, but then you'll start getting into your better summer bass. Is what I start targeting, and then go out a little bit deeper, and you'll start hitting a little bit more of them. I mean, you'll still catch a few of your better ones up shallow, but it'll be real early in the morning or real late in the evening. That lake in particular, I've actually had better luck late in the evening than I ever have in the morning over there. It seems like the quality really goes up the later in the evening. But let's see, 570 in the house. What's on, man? Let's see here. And Denny, I was going to ask you too, when you were fishing down there, do you throw that square bill a lot over there? Because that's one place that it does okay. But I think if you're going to throw a square bill there, the fall is probably my favorite time to throw a square bill over there. Just wondering if anybody else has had any better luck over there on that. Oh. And if any of you guys went and checked out Cumberland Pro Lures yet, kind of just get a little feedback on that. I was actually talking last week about that little skip gap hook. I actually really like that thing. That thing's pretty nice for throwing bigger worms, but I think they're redesigning that, and it's not going to be the big one anymore. Mainly the KVD Splash on top and a C rig. Standing timber some, yeah. Next time you go down there, let me know, and there's a couple of different places I can show you on there that are pretty good for some undercover brush that not a lot of people know about. You can throw I'll tell you a real good one is it's a fluke bait, any kind of little swim bait like that. But the fluke, I really like throwing a weightless fluke. You can get it above those bushes and the brush piles, stuff like that, and just let it sit there back and forth. But works pretty good. Somebody finally jumping in here.
Where's T. Harris? T. Harris, don't bring that shirt up anymore. I heard you. Don't even talk about that shirt. I'm trying to keep it on the DL and maybe it'll go away.
Oh, it's not going anywhere except for on your back.
I guess I earned it. Yeah, did you see that? DJ, I heard DJ talking about the 28-pound stack of Clearwater.
Yeah.
Dude,
that's unreal.
Insane, isn't it?
I mean, I've heard of some pretty good weights coming, but not like that.
And 23
21, is 21, 23. I mean, surprised me, but 28 is just nuts.
28 and 23. That's a sack for any lake.
Yeah,
throughout the
that's
country.
huge. And I've got a buddy down there, so I'll have to ask him to see what they've been catching a lot of them on. But well, Denny knows, and he's holding out on us.
You know, and I was talking to Phil, who fished that tournament, and I think TJ mentioned that some of them still have eggs. Yeah, see that right? Yeah. So what happens a lot of times is that water's been up really high. I mean, like 15 feet high. And some lakes, those bass will wait until it gets down to normal pool before they spawn. They'll hold their eggs. That happens at Kentucky Lake. When Kentucky Lake's flooded, I mean, the water temps may be in the 80s, and those fish will hold their eggs until the water level gets down to where they want to spawn, because they've got areas that they're waiting, you know, and they're certainly not going to.
They're being picky.
They're not going to pull up and spawn in 2 feet of water and then the water drops 5 feet.
I just say
they know that somehow.
Yeah, and I tell you what, you get that water dropping, that is hard anywhere you go.
Yeah,
I start pulling water.
I mean, that lake, I had no idea. I'm just kind of learned a little bit about that lake this year, and apparently it fluctuates quite a bit. It's up and down. You're smiling about something.
Oh, just no, nothing.
Why? Well, we can start calling him Pinky, Mr. Pink. Pinky was wasn't that one of the little ghosts?
Pinky was his name in high school.
Pinky, yeah. Stick my pinky. You better settle down over there. That was one of those little ghosts in Pac-Man.
Yeah,
Pinky. Yeah.
Yeah, the little guy went across.
Yeah, exactly.
He always eat you.
Yeah, little sucker.
So, but anyway, I didn't fish a tourney, but had three 7 or better over the weekend. Quite a few 3 to 6 pounders. Jesus. Like I said, we fish it in September, and I haven't seen anything that good in probably, I'm going to say 8 years in the tournaments we've had down there. But the odd thing is, out of all the tournaments we have all year, most of the time our big fish of the year came out of there in September. Somebody get one, and that'd be it. But it's been a struggle the last few years.
Yeah, that's
got them on a GoPro video.
That's impressive.
There you go.
Cool.
Who, Denny, you have it or somebody else have it? I'd like to see that.
He bought a 5. He was talking to me. I'm hoping he got it worked out. I think he was having problems with his computer being kind of out of date.
Oh, I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah. I think he was having similar problems. So
that sucks.
Hopefully he got that all lined out.
Well, I'll take care of good fish. All right. Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it. Like I said, I will go watch your video after we're done here. His buddy's got it. Okay. Yeah, Denny, if you can get that, hell, I'd like to see that.
Heck yeah. It'd be nice. You guys are talking a little bit about frogs.
Yeah, we're talking about White Will's asking my go-to frog. I told him my two are like I said, the KVD Terminator frog, that popping frog, for more of an open water, throwing underneath stuff than vegetation stuff. I go with that. I like that Fat Daddy frog. It's got that wider body, and I know the what is it? There's another fat one like that too.
Terminator makes a fat one too, I believe. I think I bought a couple of those last year.
The Terminator?
I think so.
I don't know. I thought it was that was the actual name of the frog. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was the KVD Terminator.
No, KVD has his own frog. He's got the Strike King KVD frog, which is a good frog too. And then there's the Terminator frog.
I'll have to look on that. I thought that's the name of it. I don't know. I bought it.
They've got a popping frog and just a regular frog. And then the Spro popping frog that is a good one. I fished that one a lot. I like the snag proof, the ish frogs, the smaller ones. I fished those quite a bit, and then the KVDs. Wow. I bought some of those gavachos. I think that's what you call them. Last fall, I haven't thrown them yet. I saw Dick said something about there was a frog bite. I guess he's referring to cedar. And
you said your favorite lake.
I haven't caught a frogfish over there in a little bit. I haven't thrown it much, honestly. We fished a Wednesday nighter over there, and one of the overs that we weighed in came on a frog. It came on a toad. I don't know. There's a difference, definitely. There's not a punch and bite, though. I've been kind of disappointed. I tried yesterday for
what am I doing there?
About an hour, and I could not get a punch and bite going. The mats, it's weird, man. The mats are behind. I was watching some videos from last year, which is cool thing about having a channel, or just knowing knowing videos on a lake, because you can go back and review them. And the mats are like, this time last year, there were really thick mats over there, and they're not there right now. There's some shallow stuff, some shallow mats, but it's
There it is.
a couple weeks behind. Yeah, Terminator popping frog.
Yeah, that's the one I got right there.
Okay. Yeah, I got one of those too. I like that. It's a really good frog. It's really soft.
That's what I was saying a while ago. Yeah, it's extremely soft. That's one of the biggest. That's one of the first frogs I think I've ever had that I didn't have to bend the hooks up and out.
Yeah,
it was just right out of the package, perfect.
Yeah, it's got a really good hookup ratio. That I wish I could have brought my frogs. I didn't even think about it, but that like I was saying, I bought some of those. I think they're called gavachos. You hear about them all the time. I've never bought any. I mean, I've got the frogs I've got have worked just fine. I'm not a guy that gets too cluttered. You know, I got enough stuff already. But anyway, I bought a couple of them because they were on sale. And the thing I noticed about them, I like the hook angle. The hook points up towards the top of the frog, but the weight placement. You know, frogs have that disc weight that's in the back, and it's right on the hooks, so you don't get that compression. That weight kind of gets in the way. And I haven't thrown it to know if it's going to impede the hookup, but I could see.
Is it right where the hooks split?
It's right where they split, and it stops the hooks from coming up.
Yeah,
it's kind of a bad placement in my opinion, but people swear by that. So I like the profile. It's more slender. It's got a nice pop.
That was like on the not the pop and perch. It was the live target little bluegill laid on its side.
Right.
But I had so many hookup ratios with that thing, or bad hookups. I couldn't get hooked up with it. But that thing, it was so wide, and the hooks were so, even with me bending them up and out, it didn't matter. It was just terrible. Man, I think what you were saying with that weight set so far back, it just didn't. It never compressed right. That was the one thing I had problems with. But
does that have small hooks on it, or
no,
are they're not?
It's like regular, like probably a 5/0. I'm guessing 5/0.
I just couldn't remember. I've caught fish on them. I've thrown them, but it seemed to me like the hooks were like the bend in the hook was kind of small.
Just lost my river to sea. The bully wall. That's what I was trying to think of a while ago.
No, yeah, that's river to seas frog. DJ said I got the app to work, but my battery died and had it charging from the auxiliary 12 volt. I'm thinking I have a bad USB cord.
That sucks.
Yeah. DJ, if you get kind of serious about doing that, look into the YOLO Tech, that power stick. You guys have heard me talk about it, but that thing is it's well worth the investment if you're going to be doing video all the time. It plugs right into your navigational light port, and you can it's got 3 different fittings that screw in depending on what kind of nav port you've got. They'll fit the screws, the threaded port, and that thing it's direct power. It's got 2 USB plugs in there. It extends up to 53 inches, the one I have anyway. And it comes with the GoPro mount already on it. It's got a little kind of a ram swivel on top of it, so you can get the right angle. And it works great, man. It's super easy.
Yeah, you see what I've been looking at. So I already got it in the car.
Oh yeah, they're worth it, man. I mean, they're expensive, but it's a kind of a one-time deal, and you don't have to worry about it.
My main thing I looked at, you've seen how I ran my power, or do you see that? I don't know if you've seen that in my boat or not. I ran the power cord all the way up through underneath my dash, and I got USB ports in there that plug into the cigarette lighter, so I can plug everything in right there.
Mm-hmm.
But the aggravating thing is there's no way to waterproof it and this and that. I just looking at that YOLO Tech, they sell that waterproof putty too.
Yeah, I bought some of that. I haven't used it yet, but
that one I was looking at, they've got a sale going on right now for like $139 for the 53-inch, and it comes with I don't know how many of those little waterproof putty things.
Yeah,
a bunch of those.
I think it's a 6-pack of those little discs.
Yeah, something like that. It was only like $139.
Yeah, it's worth it. I mean, it's worth it. I've tried a bunch of different ways, and it doesn't really work. That's a lot more efficient deal. So check into that, DJ.
Yeah, and I think YOLO Tech actually has their own door for the 8s.
I think I saw a video on that.
Yeah,
they sure do.
So that'll help out a bunch too.
Yeah, they got a few unique things. They've got several different options on that. They got some kayak stuff on there.
Yeah, it was just a matter of time before somebody started figuring out how to make those little doors and stuff like that, other than GoPro, because GoPro just kills you on prices for everything.
Yeah, Whitewell says he just picked up some new ones. Savage Gear DC Walker, Terminator Popping. Just lost his River to Seas Bully Wall. Need to order some more. Looking to pick up some I don't have. A Scum Frog, a Fat Frog. Yeah, the Ish's Fat Frog is the one I've been using for years.
Yeah, that's a good frog.
It's a good frog.
That's what I was saying a while ago. It's so wide, it stays on top of the vegetation so well. And then once you get it even in the open water, right outside the vegetation, it's so wide. I think that's why it walks so well. I mean, you can walk that thing right in place too.
Yeah. I'm talking about the original one before the bigger one came out. You know, the Ish Frog.
Yeah.
Because they got the bigger one too.
Yeah,
they have two different sizes.
Have you guys looked at the what are they called, the bastard frogs?
No, never heard of it.
They've been showing up on my Instagram quite a bit here lately, and I didn't know if they were just something new or something that just popped up on my thing. I didn't know, but let's see. I saw a guy has a channel on here, and he says check into the Yellow Tech and ask about his 35% discount. I gotta look into that. 35%.
I got a link on my channel, DJ. Get you a little bit off.
35%. That's a heck of a deal, man.
Yeah. Either way, man, I would seriously consider it. It's really nice. Keeps all your cords off the ground, and you got direct power. It's a no-brainer. And once you get it, you'll be like, man, I should have got this a long time ago.
Well, what's your code?
It's on. I don't know. It's THM20. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. If you go to any of my videos, look in the description box, it'll be on there. You just click on that link, it takes you over there to GoPro. Buy it that way.
Not to GoPro, Yellow Tech.
I mean, Yellow Tech, yeah. Yep, I appreciate it.
Richard said fish Kentucky like the last
2 days. Last week, fish
last
Kentucky
week,
Lake for 2 days last week. Caught several smallmouth bass and caught 2 largemouth. I've never seen so many smallmouth. Wow, what part of the lake did you fish, Richard? I'm curious.
I'll say if you're going down south, that's easy to believe, but
yeah, I fished that BFL Saturday there, and it was tough. I waited one small keeper. They had a 3-fish limit, which I thought was a really good idea. They sent out a text the day of the tournament. Instead of having a 5-fish limit, they had a 3-fish tournament or a 3-fish limit, which is.
Were you down south?
Which is great. We put in at the dam.
See, I know down south at Paris, they do that every year. Once they hit a certain time when it gets hotter, they tell you it's a 3-fish limit only.
Yeah, and they should. I mean,
yeah,
for multiple reasons, for the water temperature and because the lake is in the downward spiral right now, and that's just 2 less fish that you're gonna have to carve around if you can catch a 5-fish limit. It's hard to catch a 5-fish limit, but it took a little over 12 pounds for 3 fish for first place, and a little over 10 pounds for second place in the boater side for 3 fish. It was tough.
Yeah,
it was really tough.
Kentucky Lake. Yeah.
They have the shad population's gone. There's no grass, but like Richard was saying, there are a lot of small fish in there. You're catching a lot of 13 and 14-inch fish. So in a couple of years, those will be keeper size.
I'll say they're probably only a year old at that point.
Yeah,
they said in a healthy establishment, it's like 18 months they'll grow 16 inches. But after that, I guess it just really slows down.
And they introduced a bunch of Florida strain down south. I think they stocked like 300,000 Florida strain bass in there, which I think they do that pretty regularly. So that's always good. And the shad's kind of coming back a little bit. It just needs grass, and those fish are sick looking, man. Like the keeper I caught, it just gave up. I mean, it fought for a little bit, and then it just kind of gave up. I guess I'm spoiled fishing these Southern Illinois lakes with these grass fish. They're really strong, and they look so healthy.
They got shoulders like linebackers.
They got shoulders, man. Yeah. And them little river fish, man, they look like they're struggling. They're like, I don't know.
Yeah. You said, let's see, where was it at? Oh, about the Lake of Egypt power plant shutting down. Were you the one that posted that?
Yeah.
I seen something. I was at work or something. I couldn't read it, but I didn't get to it.
Yeah, back to DJ. With my link, you'll get I think it's 35% off of the list price, and then you get an extra 5% off with using my link on the Yellow Tech site. So they've got their list price, and then they've got it discounted, and then you'll get another 5% off of that price. using the link that's on my channel. Yeah, I heard about that Egypt thing. They've been talking about that for a couple of years. It's so expensive. The coal industry is really took a downturn in the last since not to get political, since the Obama administration. They really tightened the regulations, and the natural gas is taking over.
I was going to say, I know the one Tackle Junkie fishes all the time up there by him. They shut that one down too.
Is that Newton or
I don't know if it's Newton. I don't remember the name of it now, but yeah, they shut that down just last year.
Carlisle is one of them. I think they shut down. I'm not sure 100%, but yeah, they did. That's on the chopping block. So we'll see. That's going to really change things over there.
Yeah. Mark said he's watching from work tonight. We appreciate it, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. You know what, T. Harris, you're talking about the Asian carp. I saw a lot less Asian carp this year. I hadn't been to Kentucky Lake in a year and a half. I fished the BFLs for 5 seasons and
Coffeen. There you go.
Yeah. Coffeen. Yeah. Thanks, T. I fished them for 5 seasons, and they kept raising the entry fees. So I stepped out in like 2018 because the fishing was just getting really tough. Like 2017, like into 2016 and 2017, that time frame, you could really tell that the fishing was starting to go downhill, and you started to see a lot of Asian carp. I mean, you go out and scan those ledges, especially like 2018.
That's all it was on them.
Yeah, you'd scan those ledges, and they'd just be covered with carp. And we fished the tournament that I fished Saturday. We put in at the dam, and we ran down like 2 miles past Paris, south of Paris. So we had like a 50-minute run in the morning, and we fished ledges pretty much. And we just didn't see, we saw some carp, but it was nothing like it was. And the guy I fished with, I asked him, he was a local down there. I said, have you been seeing the amount of carp out on these ledges that you had the last couple of years? And he said, no, we've been seeing a lot less. And he said him and his buddies bow fish out there, and they bow fish for those carp. And they used to bring in, it was no problem getting like 1,000 pounds of carp a night. And the last couple months they went out, and it's hard to get even 500 pounds. So those commercial fishermen are definitely making a dent in it, and hopefully they can keep at it. It's a bad deal, man. But I think it's getting better. I think it's just getting better. But as far as the days where you used to be able to go out on those ledges and catch like 30 or 40, all in the 2 to 5 pound range, I don't know if we'll ever see that. I sure hope so. But yeah, they need grass. That's gonna really help it a lot.
Yeah, I've seen T. Harris put on there. He said he personally saw the Asian carp did at the Cascade River.
Oh gosh,
Kentucky Lake's going through the same thing. There used to be tournaments there every week at 20 pound sacks to win. Now there's not one tournament. Yeah, I know several guys that used to fish in there or fishing that. I don't know if it was the U.S. Bass Center or what it was over there. They fished, but they used to fish. That was like one of their favorite places to go. And now they went over there to fish the last couple of tournaments. I don't think either one of them's weighed a single fish in.
Yeah, I used to fish those. They used to have like a Tuesday nighter or something. I can't remember what day of the week it was. But we'd fish those, and I fished a couple. I think it was USA Bassing back then. Fished a couple of those, and it was fun. It was a good lake. Got all those backwaters. And
I know you said the shad are gone and then the bass go, but I don't know. I think with the amount of attention that they've drawn to that lake, with all the Asian carp going on and everything, I think they're going to make a pretty big dent in there. I don't think they'll ever get rid of them, but I think they're going to get to the point where they can manage them. I'm hoping. That's a big hope, but I mean,
yeah,
they've made a big jump forward already,
right? Because they've been in there for 20 years,
right? It's
just the last 5 years something's happened to where they've really taken over the lake. So if they can reduce the numbers back to say, the late 2000s or whatever,
70% bass, 30% carp, where the bass can start eating their fry a lot more because. From the way I understand it, they were getting to the point they were starting to eat bass fry and bluegill fry.
They'll eat shad too.
Right. Yeah. So I think if they get the numbers reversed for a little while, I think they can manage it. So,
I mean, they're filter feeders. Anything that comes downriver, if they're just sitting in there holding in the current, anything that goes in their mouth, they're eating it. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a whatever, it's getting sucked down. And I know for a fact, my buddy Craig Hipsher, he's a guide down there at Kentucky Lake. He has caught them on a pop bar before. Actually, caught them in the mouth. They came up and hit his pop bar. It's happened a couple times. So they're targeting shad.
Yeah. I guess, like you said, if they can get those numbers reversed a little bit and get it going back the other way, I think it'll be okay. But they're just going to have to. I think those guys that do commercial fishing down there with all the carp nets and everything else, I think you're going to have them guys regularly, though.
Yeah, they're going to stay on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, look at it this way. That opens up how many jobs for guys down there that, weren't getting paid that much. Now they're actually getting paid pretty decent for it, and they can continue to do it and probably have it there for probably a lifetime, really.
We saw, I'm pretty sure it was a carp net, like a big hoop net or something. We went back in, I think it was in Piscah Bay. That's the one with the rock quarry, if I'm not wrong. But we went back there and we went kind of to the right, and there was a bunch of orange floats that were kind of in a U shape, just sitting out off the bank right there. And I'm pretty sure.
You've been looking at my depth finder?
Hey man, that's a community over there. There's no secret places on Kentucky Lake, man.
No, there's not.
Boy, and there's no shortage of boats either, man. That thing
There never
was
is.
so rough. God,
and that's what amazes me is the fishing as bad as it is, and that thing is still packed with tournaments and everything every weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, we coming back. So we made that really long run down there, and 2 or 3 times on the way down there, my boater's temperature gauge or water pressure thermostat alarm went off. The real high beep sound.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we shut down, and there's a good stream coming out of the motor. It's fine, and so we'd run again, and we'd run for like 10 minutes, and then it would go off. So he finally trimmed it down, and it was fine the rest of the way down there. We ran from the 68 to the 79 bridge and a couple miles past that, and it didn't trigger. So then on the way up, it was doing it like every 5, 6, 7 minutes. So we were having to slow down and all that rough stuff. Yeah. And you just had to get back off pad and let the RPMs come back down, and the little red light would come off, and the noise would go away. But it was a long trip, trying to get back.
Sure.
And it was so rough out there.
Yeah, that ain't no joke.
But
let's see, Bass guys in the house. What's up, man?
Yep. T. Harris, Thursday Nighters out of New Athens. That's the one I was talking about. Yeah, I hit those up a couple times.
Honestly, I think that's where they were taking off too.
Yeah, we didn't.
Old Hickory is having carp issue too.
No, man, I didn't know that.
Moved up Tennessee River.
Yeah, there's a good Bass Talk Live with Mark Menendez. It's probably 2 years ago. If you can go back and listen to that, he has extensive knowledge on the watersheds and the Asian carp, the habits of the Asian carp and stuff. So if you just look on a map and you look at the Mississippi River and you look at the watershed of the Mississippi River, how many lakes and fingers and creeks and smaller rivers that is in the Mississippi River watershed, any of those places have carp in them. It's kind of scary when you look at it like that.
Yeah. Richard, just to answer your question real quick, the 68 bridges, I think, right at 20 miles to Paris, right?
That'd be my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like right at 20 miles.
It's about mid-leg, basically. It's what I call it.
Yeah. I always try to consider from the dam to 68 is 20, and from 68 to Paris is 20. It's pretty close. I can say that.
Yeah, it's a pretty good run.
I've made it up many times.
Yeah. And then
the run in the morning is not bad. It's the evening ride back is a pain in the butt sometimes.
That's exactly right. It's nice and glass. It's beautiful in the morning. You just lay back and
see. Bob made it in here. What's up, Bob? I have still yet to watch that footage on that video card you gave me. It's been a bit of a hectic week, so.
He hears the frog bite is on. Yeah, I'm hearing that too.
Yeah. I've been throwing a couple different new poppers in my pond, trying a couple of them out. I got one from it's not 6 cents. I forgot who it was now, but I am not impressed with that thing already. I'm having problems with it diving down constantly.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember who makes it. I'll have to remember later, pick it up. But
we got Bass Guy in the house.
Yep.
Yeah, and that Richard, the 68 bridge to the 79 bridge is a reciprocating area. So you're actually you can fish if you have a Kentucky or Tennessee license, even though part of that water is in Tennessee and the other part of it's in Kentucky. You can fish that area on either state's license. So once you get north of the 68 bridge, you're required to have a Kentucky fishing license. Once you get south of the 79 bridge, and the 79 bridge is where Paris Landing's right there. So once you go under that bridge and head south, you're required to have a Tennessee fishing license.
And keep in mind, smallmouth down there can only have to be,
No, that's on the Cumberland. If you're on the Cumberland River in Tennessee waters, they have to be 18 inches.
Well, on Paris too, it's different because you got, I think it's 18 on one side, but only 16 on the other.
It's 15, I think.
15. It's a difference because we got stopped down there. We didn't have any smallmouth, but he was telling us that if you catch them down there or catch them up here or whatever, vice versa, whatever it was.
It'd be south if there was a difference.
But you couldn't bring the smaller one back over the other line. Yeah, but I forgot which way it was, but
yeah. Well, usually our those tournaments, it's been up until I guess this year. It's been it's straight 18-inch smallmouth limit because that just keeps people from making that run and catching a 15-incher and bringing it back and saying they caught it in Kentucky waters. But I know this year it's 15 inches across the board. So your largemouth or spots and your smallies 15 inches, unless you're in Tennessee waters on the Cumberland River, which is on Lake Barkley. So yeah, but there's nothing worse than catching like a 17 and 3/4 inch smallie and have to throw it back.
Steve said how many were throwing the scroungers on Kentucky Lake?
Yeah, we fished that spot, or we actually scanned it and stuff. They weren't there. I didn't take any scroungers. I've been throwing them around here though. I haven't gotten bit on it. I've gotten bit a couple years ago.
I need to order some actual scrounger heads. Like I said, the ones I have are hard plastic on the top, and they never swim right.
Well, I'll tell you what I did is I took Spro makes some really heavy duty swivels. You can get them at Academy. And
does Academy have them in stock?
Because I'm probably the only thing they got.
I'm going Thursday night.
Good luck,
to get some stuff, and every time I've been down there, they're out of everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. It's pretty crazy.
Which amazes me with everything that's, the fishing industry has really popped big time in the last few months since everything started. But yet that has been the number one thing everybody's been out of is fishing stuff. I'm like, why would these companies not push more of their stuff, But I guess it's not something that's essential. But
I don't know. I don't know if they can keep up with the demand. I mean, some of these plant workers and stuff have had to lay people off because they work in such tight quarters. That's kind of what's going on with the meat processing plants and the meat packing plants. You get people that are from me to you, 1,000 people that close. One guy gets the virus, and then boom, it spreads like wildfire. So,
I guess anything can happen. I mean,
the demand's there. It's just they can't keep up with it. I think
catch a virus, have to wear a pink shirt, something.
Something, man. There's a lot of crazy things that happen in this world. We were talking about the scrounger. So you can take that that swivel. It comes with that snap ring on there. Take that off, and you can put your swivel on there in front and tie it to your swivel. And the problem with, if you guys haven't fished scroungers before, they're real bad about line twists. The scrounger has that clear rounded bill on it, and it does this. And if it gets a little bit off balance, it will roll on you. And it's bad.
It's like fishing a weightless Cinco.
It's like fishing an S waver. When you cast an S waver and it just biscuits out on you, it's the same thing. It's annoying. But that swivel, I've been fishing it a little bit, and it seems to make a big difference.
Richard's screaming at me right now.
Essential fishing, really. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's.
I'm not saying
about that.
Yeah, I'm not saying they were not essential, but I guess that's the way they're looking at it.
Steve says order the Picassos. You get the hard and soft plastic for the scrounger heads. I haven't tried the Picasso heads, but I will definitely take a look at them.
Hang on, White Whale had something up there. He said, speaking of poppers, you guys follow Rick Clun on YouTube, just a killer popper video on some history and really unique info. If you like the fishing and popping treble bait, I highly recommend watching. Yeah, actually, somebody else was telling me about that too, Greg.
Yeah, he was talking about the Rico. I've watched a couple of those videos. They're really cool. There's a couple of them where his wife has a picture underneath a dish towel. He takes the dish towel off and he pulls up the picture, and he just talks about that picture. It's really cool idea. I mean, it might be him when he was a little kid and he was standing there with his brother and sister in overalls on the farm. It might be his first car was one of them. A fish that he was holding up, and he just talks about that. It's really insightful.
We could do that, but I'd be afraid of what picture would pop
up. Yeah, I'm sure guys would just love to sit here and let us reminisce about old pictures.
Yeah,
we'd be down to. I know Whitewell would be here for us. Dude, solid, man.
Yeah.
You guys are all solid.
Yeah, let's say
we got a good crew.
Denny would be
Denny
there to watch the
T. Harris, yeah.
He'd call him out for us.
Richard's here.
Oh.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys, man. It's like we got a nice little core group of people we like hanging out with on Mondays.
Let's see here. Fishing report. Just caught an 18-inch smallmouth picks later. I'm so happy. Shaking over the text.
Who is this?
Dude, that's awesome, man. That's Tom. He's fishing right now.
Oh.
He was on his way.
See, we're good luck, man. We're good luck.
18-inch smallmouth.
That's a stud. Hard to text, yeah. Man,
Tom, if you can send it to me on Messenger or something, I'll post it up here. Or I'll hold it up to the screen.
I get that way too, Tom. When I catch a big fish, I get all jacked up, man.
You know, it's
like 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay. So I was just thinking this the other day. I was actually driving somewhere, whatever. So was it the first one? Yes. So it was the first 7-pounder I caught this year, and you guys seen the video. I was out on my boat, on a local little lake, and I caught that 7.3.
Right?
Was it 7.3? Yeah.
7.2 or 7.3?
7.2, 7.3. Either way. When I caught that fish, and I'll be honest with you guys, I thought it was 5 pounds, maybe 6. And then I picked it up. And I'm like, yeah, I think it's a good 6-pounder. I never even thought it was 7 pounds. And I don't know why, but do you guys ever have an issue with just looking at a fish and just way underestimating it?
I'm bad.
Because I didn't even get excited. I should have been blowing up the boat at that point, but it just never even occurred to me that fish was that big. But now that second one I caught, I seen the shoulders on that thing come up out of the water, and you seen the video on that one. I was like, holy crap! I was like, got excited. I knew it was that big, but
that was a different looking fish. That second one you caught,
it was a lot
just
different,
fatter. I mean, it was more compact, and it was wider.
It was like me.
Yeah, right.
Wider.
Yeah,
well, wider.
What do you do? Throw your scraps down there in the pond?
No, not that one. The one at
I'm talking about the one you caught out of here. Recently.
The one out of here was
the slosh master or whatever.
She was a chunk.
Yeah. That fish, when you held it up, I could tell that was in that 7-pound range.
Yeah, and when I caught that fish, like I said, and I said it before, that was probably one of the hardest hitting fish I've ever had in my life. And I swear up and down that fish must have been swimming towards the bait, and it was coming. And when they hit, they hit, and it, like I said, I about lost my rod and reel out of my hands.
Jesus.
And I was so excited that I was calling my wife. I'm like, get down here right now. You got to get some pictures. So she come running down from the house to get all the pictures and stuff. But yeah, I was pretty excited with that one. But
yeah, that was a beautiful fish. That looks like the fish that you catch out of the Southern Illinois lakes, the grass. Yeah. It looked like a grass fish to me. It had that dark green color.
Maybe that's what it is. I'm getting grass finally.
Yeah, it really makes a difference.
Yeah.
But talking about underestimating fish, I'm real bad about that. And there's been several times in tournaments where I've thought, even last Wednesday night, I thought we were good to have 9 pounds, because that tournament where you can keep 2 over 18 and 2 under 14. And I thought we had 9 pounds. I thought, it usually takes you got to have 12 usually. So we came in, I'm like, we did what we could do. We worked hard. We broke off. We had 3 overs and I broke off another one. So we had our opportunities and put them on the scale, and it was 10.54. And I was like, what? It's a whole pound and a half difference.
Yeah.
And we ended up winning that, but I surely didn't think we had 10.5 pounds. I was sore against it.
It's weird how you can catch so many fish. And I've had this conversation with my boy a couple times, whatever. You get enough tournament fishing and fishing enough of your own and everything else, you kind of learn what a 14-inch fish or 15.5-inch fish looks like. And you can usually call them out. But once they get over that, I'm going to say 3-pound mark, they'll fool you bad.
Yeah.
And it's just the length. I mean, if you get a long one, you're like, oh, that's a 5-pounder. And you put him on the scale and he's 4.2. You're like, oh, whatever. Yeah. But, like that one you said that caught out here, he was a chunk. So,
well, I'm used to catching, like I'm always looking for an 18-inch fish, over there. And a 15-inch fish looks so small to me because you catch a lot of 16-inch fish on the lake that I like to fish a lot.
Yeah, that's slot limit. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just a lot of nice 15.5 to 17-inch fish. It's real common. So when I catch, a 15-inch fish, like for instance at Kentucky Lake, it looked like just a little peewee, and that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And you put it on the board, and you're like, man, that's 15.25 inches. Sure, you almost throw it back. You're just looking for that bigger fish.
Yeah. And say Tom said he's got the phone in his pocket. He's listening.
Well, we appreciate that. Yeah, Whitewell's talking about the Rico. Yeah, if I remember correctly, Rick Clunn was talking about he was a guide there. He was down in Texas for forever, and he had a client that was working that popper, that Rico, really fast. And Clunn was like, you're working that too fast,
Yeah.
And the bite was really tough. And the next thing you know, this guy started catching fish. I think he had like a 5-pounder blow up on it. And the guy was working it, like he was twitching it probably like 5, 6, 7 times real quick and then letting it sit and then real fast like that. And the guy was just wrecking him on that bait. So that's how Clunn learned to fish that Rico or that popper a lot faster than a lot of people.
See, we don't need to watch Rick Clunn's video. We got game.
And you can do the same thing with a spook too, for a while until it kills you. But you can walk that spook super fast.
Yeah.
And
I've done it at Kentucky Lake on ledges a many times.
Exactly.
It'll wear your butt out in a hurry.
But that's what you got to do sometimes to trigger those fish.
Let's see where we're at there. Steve said he took kayaks out Saturday, 6.5 hours and not one bite. Oof. That's tough, man.
Yeah. There was a big kayak tournament going on at Kentucky Lake.
Could you imagine being on Kentucky Lake?
Those guys are nuts. I mean, they got some of them got the little orange flag sticking out the back. But they were out there. They were out there in those rollers. I mean, right out there on the ledges and everything.
There ain't no way.
And they can still, they got the pedal drive system. They still get around pretty fast. It's impressive. But I saw probably 20 or 30 kayaks just in the areas that we were fishing. So it had to be at least a 100 boat tournament.
Yeah, Whitewell says he's headed to Michigan, going for a decent bite.
Nice, man.
You see Richard, where's that? Oh, right there. He said you haven't experienced a hard strike till you fished in Canada. Which fish we talking about here, Richard?
A lot of them, man.
Oh, I'm sure. Especially the smallmouth up there.
Yeah, the pikes too. They're gonna knock slack in your line too. Canada's. I want to get back to Canada. I just want to get up to Minnesota. It'd be pretty close to Canada.
It's even harder to fish or judge a fish's weight length when you're watching somebody catch them on TV. Yeah, that ain't no joke.
It is.
I'll tell you a perfect example of that is when you were talking about scrounged head a while ago. Jason Lambert caught that 9-pounder on Kentucky Lake. It did not look 9 pounds, but that's a big dude.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot of it. It's the size of the person that's holding the fish, how close they are to the camera, how far away. You like you said, you catch a 5-pounder on the front deck and just turn around and hold it. It looks like a 3-pounder.
Yeah.
But when you get a little bit closer, it looks more legit. If you get really close, it looks bigger. It adds a couple pounds to it. So
then he must have had to go for a bear run. He said he got pulled off for a bit to try to catch up before it's over.
Yeah. Well,
I bet his can ran dry.
So you were talking about you wanted to talk about just some follow-up baits for.
Yeah, I figured we'd kind of cover a little bit of that. So frog fishing. I mean, everybody's getting into frog fishing right now, or has been for about a month probably.
Right.
And I figured we'd go over probably maybe let's just say your top 1 or 2 follow-up baits for frog fishing if you're missing a bite. And if you guys chime in anytime, let us know what your guys' follow-up baits are if you have any or whatever, or have any questions too.
Well, I mean, my follow-up bait is a frog.
Okay.
And then it goes to punching, because if you're fishing heavy grass, if you're, I guess after we talk about this, we can talk about top waters, because that's what a frog is, more in open water. You have follow-ups with that too.
Yep.
But I'm typically, if I get that bite on a frog, I'm gonna move it just a little bit more. I don't want to get it too far away from the hole. And Jacob Wheeler talked about this. What happens is that fish will come up and blow through that mat. And if he misses the frog, he's kind of looking for the frog. If you keep moving it, you'll pull that fish. He'll follow that frog underneath the mat. He may not commit to it. So if you keep working it all the way to the boat, there's a good chance that you've pulled that fish, 10 feet away from that hole, to where if you just work it a couple more times and he doesn't blow up on it, if you reel it in and get another cast out there, that fish is still around that hole. He's still kind of looking for whatever that was that came over the top of that mat. You got some light coming in through that hole so he can see up out of it. And another thing he said is you don't want to actually jerk it right in the hole, which I don't know. I mean, I've caught him either way, but you want to kind of get it to the side so they can't get a really good look at it. So I'll do that, and then I'll go back in with the punch rig behind that. Some days you can tell. Some days you'll have a bunch of blow-ups, and you'll throw it back in there, and you don't get that second blow-up on it. So if that starts happening, I'll immediately, after I get that first blow-up, say I've had 2 or 3 blow-ups, and I've thrown back in there, and they won't come back. I'll just forget about that second cast in there altogether, and I'll go right to the punch rig. So once I get a blow up, I go right to the punch rig. So you kind of have to figure out the mood of the fish for that day. It's just every day is different. So
yeah, I'll go with them. I'm more of a. I don't usually don't go with the second cast. I'm usually going straight to something I can punch through the mat with, which is it works well for me. I don't know. I'm not going to say it's the best way. I mean, but I have had a lot of luck with that. Yeah, just punching right afterwards. So that's going over grass. Let's talk out in the open.
Yeah,
that could be pretty much any.
And back to that same scenario real quick is when you're fishing grass and you're throwing a frog and you're specifically targeting the mats, you want to have that punch rig ready to go. You don't want to have it on your keeper, on your rod, or on your you don't want to have your hook out of your bait. You want to have it right at your rod tip, ready to pick up and pitch in there, because it's kind of like schooling fish. When schooling fish come up, you only got like 5 seconds to fire something out there. The same thing if you're fishing for schooling fish, or if you're in an area where those schools can pop up. You want whatever it is, your top water, your underspin, or whatever, ready to rock and roll, because you don't have much time. It's the same thing with that frog bite. They'll blow up on it, and you need to get that punch rig in there ASAP, because those fish are they're fired up. They're looking for something to eat. And it's amazing how many bites you get after that initial blow up.
Yep. And I mean, there's a lot of times you'll see if I'm frog fishing on my boat, my other rod's sitting right next to me. It's not laid down with the rest of them because I'm not juggling through rods. Because like Gabe said, you have to get in there. You've got a couple seconds, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm. That's smart. Just have 2 rods right there. Your frog and your
I just keep them right there, and that's typically I won't even reel that frog in. I just set my rod down, grab the other one, go right to it. And the reason I do that is a lot of times you pull that back. If they didn't blow up through the grass and make a hole, one, you're probably not going to know exactly where it was at. So I just leave my frog there, and I can pitch right to my frog. It gives me a target and know exactly where it's at. And you're not wasting time reeling it in. So
that's a good idea. I mean, you can't do that in a tournament, but if you're fun fishing, you can.
Yeah.
Because technically you're fishing with 2 rods at one time.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. You probably fish docks at Egypt too, don't you?
No.
So open water, if you're fishing let's just say a spook or something, some kind of walking bait in open water, and the fish blows up and misses it, what are you gonna do?
I got 2 baits I go with.
Okay.
So depending on what kind of day I'm having, or what kind of a mood the fish are in, if they're chasing baits, I go with the swim jig or a fluke. Either one of them, they're good ones to go with. If they're being sluggish, that's definitely, I'm going with a weightless Senko. Something slow fall. You can throw it over, pitch it wherever it's at, and it's going to be a slow fall. They're going to have plenty of time to look at it, plenty of time to follow it, and that, to me, I think typically gets a little bit better bite on that weightless Senko. But you've got to be careful because they'll swallow that thing in a hurry.
Yeah,
but
so are you wacky rigging that? Or
no, I just
Texas rig.
Weightless Texas rig.
Yeah,
I know you're a big wacky guy.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little bit goofy.
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm not big into the wacky scene. It works. Don't get me wrong. I won't argue that point at all. But I like the Texas style. For me, I think it skips better, but that's just me. I mean, there's probably guys out there who can skip a wacky rig bait better than I could a regular Texas rig, but
especially on spinning rod. I mean, that's typically.
Yeah, I throw it on spinning
That's
rod.
typically what I'm doing. You can
Yeah.
skip that thing forever.
A mile, yeah.
And get in trouble real quick and just disappear. Yeah, the only other thing I would add to that is sometimes a light Texas rig, it's something that falls slow. I mean, I'm thinking right off the bat, I'm thinking speed crawl or something, or even a shaky head. But the main thing is to get it in there really quick. Whatever it is you're throwing, it's the same thing as we just talked about on the mats. Is that fish is fired up? It's looking for something to eat. You want to get that bait in there ASAP. Sometimes there'll be multiple fish in that area. There'll be more than one fish that's looking at that top water. But one of them will sneak out there and grab it for the other one. So you might be surprised. There could be 2 or 3 or 4 fish right in that little school, in that little area right there. But just get it out there ASAP. And I like the wacky rig, man. I got a lot of confidence.
I know you do.
I got a lot of confidence.
Like I said, it works. I got there's no argument there at all. I see David finally showed up. He's at 2 lines in the water. Tournament no. Yep,
that's right.
It is.
Bad boy, Craig. Bad boy.
I never said I was doing it in tournaments.
2-minute penalty. Got to sit on the boat. No drink.
We still got to go through and figure out what we're going to do on our next tournament there.
Somebody had a really good idea, and I can't remember who it is. I don't think they're on here tonight, but their comment was to do an MLF style and have one of our viewers in each boat. So 2 of our viewers, if we can get, I don't know how we would get that set up, but we can have, once we get a date, we can maybe do some kind of,
so you got to take I got to take one of your viewers in my boat?
Say somebody that's on here right now.
Okay.
We'll do a live stream contest, maybe a random pick or something, 2 guys. And if it works out in their schedule and they can be in the boat with us for 6 or 8 hours, we'll figure out the lake. We'll get their contact information. We'll go over there and they'll be the refs. That'd be awesome. That'd be a great day, man. I mean, that'd be so much fun. Get to meet some of these people in here that we don't personally know.
Yeah. David, I would say probably 80 to mid 80s.
DJ says he'll quit work. We can't pay you, man. Food stamps. Yeah, 80s, mid 80s is what it's been. Last Sunday it was 78 in the afternoon. When was it? When did that tropical depression come through? Was that last?
That was last
Tuesday. Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah. So Wednesday, the water temps were 78 degrees at 5 o'clock. But the Sunday before that, so 2 days prior, they were 86. So it dropped that much.
Yeah.
And the fishing's good right now. They've kind of fired up. That water's dropped a little bit.
Yeah. So he's in the mid 70s.
Yeah.
DJ said, no, I'll retire. I'm old.
Yeah. You can hang out with Phil. Phil's hating going back to work. The guy I fished with in that Wapapello video, in the Clearwater video, Phil Meyer, he's been out of work for like 3 weeks or 3 months, and he had to go back.
Oh,
part-time. He's not, he's kind of missing the days when he could just go fishing all he wanted.
I was just thinking I think that would be just an absolute killer idea to have 2 of our viewers come and be the refs. I think that would be freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Now, are we going to allow them to fish?
No, they're just strictly refs.
Man, that's got to be. I don't think I
can. Or maybe we can.
That'd be agonizing pain. Watching somebody fish all day while you're sitting in the boat.
Well, we'll have to think about that. What do you guys think out there? What's some more suggestions? I mean, we could do it could be a buddy tournament, or they could fish like periods 1 and 2, and then there's a lot of different ways we could do it.
Yeah.
It could be just straight ref. We could put them in the mix for a little bit, or they could even fish and we could weigh their fish.
DJ, I need lots of sandwiches.
I got you back, man. I'll get you. I'll talk to Jerry. He can hook you up. He can buy a loaf of bread and slap some meat on there, and he'd be good.
Hey, Danny, I know.
There's your blooper, DJ.
I knew an awesome sandwich maker. I didn't know. I know an awesome sandwich
maker. In the other room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does a good job, and she doesn't skimp on the meat either.
Lots of sandwiches. I had a sandwich before I came down here. 1-versus-1 tournament. Steve says, loser has to post a video fishing in pink dress with a Barbie pole.
You shut up, Steve.
I don't know, man.
That's
I'm
a
just
little
trying
rough.
to get through the t-shirt, dude. I'm just trying to get through
A
the t-shirt
pink
with the
dress.
Barbie pole.
A pink dress.
A pink dress. Do they make I don't know, man. Be a big chick that has a dress that fit me. It has to be a custom.
What do you put?
Yeah.
I thought any dress is going to look like a medium on me.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
To fill it.
That might be too much because, somebody's going to lose.
Yeah, and I tell you what, that is one thing. I'm just going to throw this out there, but if our friends or buddies found out about that, we would have audiences on a lake. I'm pretty sure.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
And there'd be a lot of cameras out
They have
there.
a cheering section.
So I don't know if I'd want to do that.
Oh, yeah. You're just worried about the Barbie pole.
I don't. Yeah, I'll fish with it. Well, you can't get a hook set on them things. Those things are terrible.
I caught some big catfish on them. Farm ponds.
Catfish, I can see. Yeah.
Yeah. You just let that drag.
Yeah.
He just takes off. It's ridiculous. You got to change the line on them, though. They come with a crappy line.
You'd be surrounded by KVD. Yeah, I'm sure.
Want a lollipop?
Afraid to ask. No, you're good, David. Actually, I talked to the guy today. He's he's talking to the guy that's actually doing the rebuild. So he's kind of waiting on a little update. I know they were working on it last week. So I'm hoping maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks at the most. I'm hoping. So we shall see. But
That'll be a whole, like a month almost, huh?
yeah, they've had it 3 weeks. So,
jeez.
Yeah, I've actually got a tournament this Saturday, which a good buddy of mine, the one I actually bought the boat from, he's got a 21-foot Triton. So I'm going to use his boat this Saturday to fish in the tournament with a buddy of mine. So
Bass Guy says it might even make ESPN too. I don't know, man. It'd be hard to get in between people in their cornhole tournaments and their drone, obstacle course.
I don't know.
flight
You're fishing
stuff.
if you're fishing in a pink dress and a Barbie pole,
You're gonna draw some attention.
you might get some attention.
You're gonna draw some attention.
I don't know if I'd want that attention though.
You won't have to wear a mask because there won't be anybody within 6 feet of you. I promise you that.
Yeah, it's
Probably clear the whole lake out. Burn your car.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry, David. I get so much crap about my boat not sitting in the driveway. It isn't funny. My wife asks me every weekend, "Hey, you want to go boating over to the lake?" Yeah, very funny.
Whitewell says, so you guys are in early summer pattern. What's your top 5 baits? Are you fishing shallow or deep or in the middle? Those are great questions.
Yeah. I would say, first off, it depends on which lake we're at. Because if it's a grass lake, that's going to change everything. If it's a rocky lake, that's going the other way. I don't know. I guess we'd go look at it as a tournament scenario. Well, early morning to about midday. I mean, obviously, probably going to start off pretty shallow, looking for topwater bites, in and around different covers, stuff like that. I personally don't stay up there very long. That's just me, though. I mean, I get maybe an hour and a half up shallow, and then I'll start heading out to deep water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're definitely in a summer pattern for sure. The lakes that I've been fishing lately, there's still that first big bluegill spawn thing is kind of happened. I'm not going to say all the fish are done spawning, obviously, because what DJ was saying, there's still some, but that's on a lake that fluctuates a lot. I'd say they're almost all
85-90%.
They have to be. I mean, they really have to be. The last full moon in June it's already gone past. So I'm not even seeing as many fry as I was even a week ago. You know, I was seeing the little bitty fry, and then now I'm seeing these like about 3 or 4. About a week ago, I was seeing this size fry like an inch or so, and now I'm not even really seeing those fry at all. The bluegill aren't. They're still in the grass and stuff, but I'm not seeing them locked in the beds right now. Now they'll come back up. You know, they'll spawn 5 or 6 times throughout the year. They just come in little waves and stuff. So the next full moon, they're going to be up there doing it again.
I was going to ask you too, something I've noticed, and this is the first year I've ever noticed this. And the only reason I even noticed this is because my pond has been so dang clear. But my bluegill spawned, and then all the red ear spawned.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They was completely different spawn. It was really weird because, I mean, I've seen bluegill beds all over and this and that and everything else. Once they got done with their spawn, they started kind of swimming around, swimming off, and you seen their little fry kind of swimming around. Right after that, like a week later, it was filled with red ear everywhere.
The same beds.
All I've seen, yeah. So I don't know. I didn't even know they did that differently. I thought they were kind of just all put together. But
yeah, that's an interesting observation. I didn't know that either. That's pretty cool. But so I'm starting to fish a lot deeper now. I'm starting to see some fish out deeper finally. There's a lot more schooling activity going on out in the main lake and stuff. I'm seeing a lot of shad, especially in the evenings. You're seeing the shad schools up on top of the water, where you see that ripple that kind of moves around. Mm-hmm. You see them just kind of just sipping off the top of the water, eating the algae, whatever the algae bloom that's coming up right in the evening. You know how that happens. Your craft just gets all cluttered right before dark. You can't even see there's that bloom that's coming up. So those shad are feeding on there, and I'm seeing a few bass busting through those and stuff. So I've been fishing. You got to have the frog on all day long. I've been fishing underspin a lot. I've been fishing a jig a lot. I like a half ounce to 3/4 ounce, or usually a half ounce to like 5/8 ounce big stand-up head that I'll put a rage crawl on there. I'll put a Magnum trick worm, Magnum shaky head, something just stands up on the bottom. Yeah, the skipjack hook there, that's a good one too. Cumberland Pro Baits. Did you see that the big Magnum shaky head that he's working on? That's going to be really good. I like that. 6XD, the Cloud 20, your deep diving crankbaits are good to have on hand. Carolina rig. I haven't been getting bit on a Carolina rig, but
I have noticed the fish are starting to school up deeper.
They're starting to school up a little bit.
I mean, there's been a few out there here and there, but a lot of them are starting to actually school up.
Yeah. So I'm looking at
that's one thing I look forward to every year.
Yeah.
Because that's, I've said it 100 times. There's a lot of guys that fish tournaments that they're bank beaters. I mean, that's all they'll do is beat that bank. But I'm telling you guys, if you can get off the water and just train yourself to try it a couple of times,
get off the bank,
and go out there and find a school or a couple schools and just either throw your big deep diving crankbaits. You can do Carolina rigs. You can do a Texas rig out there if you want to. Good football head jig works really well out there. Just start getting into that stuff. And once you start finding them schools and figuring out what that's all about, you're going to be pretty happy during the summer, especially when all them other guys are going, I didn't catch nothing. I didn't get a bite all day. And you're coming in with a sack of 5 that are really good ones.
Yeah, and you got to move around. Here's something that works a lot. If I'm out there struggling and I can't quite get anything going, you can just run. If you got any kind of wind, you can just run any point that has wind blowing on it.
Yep.
And just put everything out of your mind. Don't even look at that nice mat over there on the bank. Don't look at that standing timber. Don't look at those laydowns. None of that. It's hard to do. You got to discipline yourself, but just go to a point, get out off the point, make about 20 casts. Say make 10 casts with a 10-inch worm, 10 casts with a big shaky head. Throw your crankbait in there, pull everything up, and go to the next one, and just bounce around like that for a couple hours. And eventually, you'll find. Say you hit 15 points. Say you hit 10 points. You'll find one point that'll have some fish on it. You're going to hit a lot of points that don't have fish on them.
Yep.
But you got to keep moving, because what's going to happen is you'll hit 2 of those points and you'll be like, man, this ain't working. And then you're going to look over there at that nice juicy mat or that nice lay down that's sitting in the water. You're going to go over there and flip a jig, and then you're right back on the bank again.
Yeah, you'll probably go up there and catch a little one here or there, this and that, and
especially if the wind's blowing in on it. You can. But it's something to try if you just want to try something different. You guys probably already do that anyway, but I'm just kind of thinking out loud here. You can just run that windy point pattern, and it's pretty productive. It'll get you out off the bank. You'll get the feel for fishing out off the bank.
Yeah. I seen John Morris was in here, dude. Appreciate you finally
What's up,
joining.
John? Good to see you on here, man.
John is actually the guy that made my intros.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
So it's good to have him on here finally. And I assume you're back stateside, right?
He's in the military, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He
thanks for service,
he
sir.
was over in, I think, Afghanistan, actually.
Okay. Crazy. Over there with all the sand. Did you know I watched a documentary on camels? Speaking of over there in the desert, and they got their nostrils. When you over in the, yeah, their nostrils.
It was just watching a documentary on camels.
It's an open show. We talk about whatever.
Yeah, okay. I'm just curious.
But camels, their nostrils close. Did you know that? Look it up, man. It's crazy. They actually they close their nostrils to keep the sand from going in there. So now, what were we talking about? Fishing deep.
Yeah.
We're all over the place. I just thought that was interesting, man.
I know Denny put on there. He said the side of his bass he was catching fry that looked like fry.
Okay, fry. Yeah. There's a lot of those.
And David made a pretty solid point there. He said nowadays more guys around him fish deep, but bang deep, you need to be confident in the key. Or he thinks that's the key. I agree. It is. That's a lot of, learning how to fish and learning what you're fishing with and everything and getting confidence in anything will absolutely make you a better angler.
Yeah.
100%. But I think what we were trying to say was there's still a lot of guys that just beat banks constantly. And they don't get out of their comfort zone to go try these other things. I can tell you, 10 years ago, I would have never left the bank because I didn't know anything about it and just happened to fish with a couple of guys that did it and, started doing it on my own. And I think when I did it on my own and got my own graph and really went out there and it's hard to do, but leave your poles down. Don't touch them. Just watch your graph and look for schools and you can start to find, different stuff like that. And you kind of figure out what you're looking for will help you out a lot. Now, don't get me wrong. If you don't have graphs to look at, if you're in a kayak or something like that or whatever, you just like Gabe said, you can start bouncing on points, but it opens your arsenal. It's kind of like if you got one tackle box when you start off, that only lasts for, a week or two. And then you got 10 boxes, but you keep buying more baits, but not all those baits are going to catch you fish and not all of them you're going to have confidence in, but there's a few key ones in there that you're going to find yourself constantly going back to with a lot of confidence. And, it's no different than going on a boat and finding different key areas because you're going to start building confidence in those key areas and make yourself go out deep, make yourself fish the bank, fish all those different things. And you're building your arsenal of places you can go.
Yeah.
Which is something a lot of guys don't do.
Well, it's hard because we don't have that much time to fish. None of us get to go as much, fishing as much as we want. So when you go fish, you want to have confidence. You want to catch some fish. So where have you caught a lot of your fish at? Especially coming out of spring. That's for me, that's the hardest transition is how long do I stay on the bank? Because 2 weeks ago, you're just smoking them on a swim jig on the bank. I mean, it was like 5 foot of water less, and it's been going on for like 2 months. Then you there's a transition that kind of starts happening where you catch fewer and fewer fish.
You'll go 2 weeks catching those fewer and fewer fish and not thinking,
right,
hey, dummy, go out here. But you just stay there.
Right.
I do the same thing.
Yeah. And it's a lot of it is because you just don't get a chance to go as much, and so you want to do what you have confidence in. You've caught them on a certain bait. You got a lot of confidence. And there are days when they'll be up shallow, especially a cloudy day if you got some wind. And there are lakes where they stay shallow. Any grass lake, you're always going to be able to catch some fish shallow, but there will be fish out deeper that are less pressured. Those shallow fish in the grass, they're right about this time. They start to get a little bit tougher to catch. You think they're not even in there, but they are. As long as there's bait in that grass, as long as you're seeing bluegill and stuff swimming around in between the weeds and stuff, there's big bass in there.
Hearing them popping.
But they've been caught a lot. They've seen a lot, so they're starting to get a lot of pressure. So there's going to be key windows where those fish will fire. First thing in the morning, like you were talking about, in the evening. If you've got any kind of a front moving in, some cloud cover, you've got some light rain, usually just any kind of a front that moves in, a changing in the weather condition right before that stuff. Those fish in the grass will get aggressive. They'll get kind of dumb. You can catch them. There's a lot of times when they won't bite, but there'll be a group of fish out deeper that will cooperate. So you got to jump around, but it's hard to do. It's
not easy. It took me a long time to do it, but you have to keep pushing yourself. It's kind of like fishing a new bait. fishing something that a lot of people are out there catching fish on. You throw it once or twice and you're like, oh, this thing don't work. Sometimes you just got to pack that and that only in your boat or bank fishing or whatever, and don't take anything else and go throw it and build confidence in it. But it's not easy to do.
And you got to get, if you fish a certain lake a lot, if you've got a home lake, you got to get a kind of a milk run in your head. You have to get enough time on the water where you catch those fish out deep to where you can figure, okay, there's 25 points in there. I've got confidence on 6 of those points. So then you've got your little milk run that you can keep going around. You can kind of figure out what's going on, and then you can maybe try to find a couple of new points. Spend a day just spending a couple hours graphing, which is hard to do. I've been doing that a lot lately. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to just graph.
I like to do that in the late fall, almost winter. Mm-hmm. And the reason I do that is, one, I told I think it was Aaron Wetzel he was asking about doing that and how I do it. And I'll be honest with you, I go out there when it's hitting 40s in the morning, or even mid 30s, we'll say, and getting up to like in the 50s during the day. I'll grab a thermos full of coffee and go out there in the boat. I don't even pull my rods out of the locker. I just leave them in there, and I just cruise around drinking coffee and just watch my graph and just keep going back and forth. And I've honestly found some pretty awesome spots doing that I never do see anybody else fishing them hardly.
Right.
So I'm not saying they don't ever get fish, but there's a lot of places out in the middle that people just fly over all the time and never even know it's there.
And that's some of your best times to graph is late fall and the winter, especially in the winter, because your water clarity is so good.
Yeah.
You've got no algae. It's really clear. You just get a really good crisp picture.
Yep.
So one more thing I just remembered. We're getting a thermal. We've had a thermocline already in about 12 foot over there. Now it's got busted up since the water temperatures have fallen a little bit, so it's set up at like 18. But that's another thing you got to deal with. I'm not going to go into it too much, but when you're targeting offshore stuff like we were talking about, that thermocline is a key player. And typically, those fish are going to be within that thermocline band. Say you see the top of it, there's a hard thermocline in 12 foot. They'll be within a few feet of that a lot of times. So if it's 12 foot and where there's some brush in that 12 foot zone, that's the stuff you can key in on. They're going to be out as deep as they can because they're going to sit. They like to sit right in that cooler water. The thermocline's a little bit cooler, but they're not going to be too far below it because the oxygen's depleted. Unless they're a catfish or something. Catfish, I don't understand them. They'll be down there. They don't even care, man. They're just gangsters and tough. But you can key on that thermocline. So you're looking for cover structure that's like the same depth as that thermocline. A lot of times you can find some really good productive water just by running around looking for cover in a specific depth zone. It's a really good pattern too.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
So one other thing I want to talk about, are you guys, you guys are into the every week Monday, every Monday night, or do you guys want to space this out? Or because we can tell with everything else going on and all the guys, it's summer. We noticed, there's not nearly as many guys on the live stream. So we had talked about actually cutting it down a couple of times. We never did really do it, but just kind of getting your guys' thoughts, what you guys thought about it and everything else. Maybe going maybe every other week or something like that. Or, just kind of feeling you guys out and see what you guys thought about it. Next Monday, I will definitely not be on.
Okay. Even what about a different day every other week or something? Stick with Mondays or whatever. But anyway, it's we, like you said, we talked about it. Fishing Fat Man says every week.
Cool.
One vote for every week. Yeah.
And we don't care either way. We're just trying to get your guys' input. You guys, you guys are on right now. You guys are here every week.
TJ, nice, man. Appreciate that. And that's the truth, man.
It's the only thing on TV. Yeah.
It's hard to watch TV nowadays.
You know what? I've got like a $80 satellite bill in there, and I don't think I watch an hour of TV a month.
Man, I was watching this morning. Obviously, I was watching this documentary about camels because I just brought that up. And I was also watching.
Did you just get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and randomly watch documentaries on just random?
There's a camel documentary coming on. I set my alarm.
I bet you did.
Hey, before going to a tournament, there's some weird stuff on TV. You're sitting on the TV in front of the TV at like 4 in the morning. there'll be some kind of weird infomercial
Yeah,
about
infomercials.
some
Yeah.
kind of, I don't know, man. Just I like watching those building shows. There'll be a guy like putting a deck on a house or something. That's the kind of stuff I enjoy. Next thing you know, you're like almost late for the tournament because you're in there watching some guy nail a 2x4. You know,
I mean, do you watch a lot of guys nail 2x4s?
Give me my pink shirt.
So, all right, guys. Well, it looks like we're going to stay on every week, which is fine. That's just kind of wanted to get you guys' opinion. Like I said, we've noticed numbers have been down, but it's not necessarily what we're doing or anything like that. It's just YouTube in general. We're still getting our growth and everything else, so it's fine. It just, like I said, I'm sure with it being summer, it has a lot to do with it. You know, everybody, it's still light outside for most of us. So,
but hey, as long as we got this crew in here right now, we're good.
Yeah, definitely.
You guys are awesome. You've been very faithful. Yep. We really, really appreciate it.
Yep, definitely.
I saw a documentary, and it wasn't a documentary. It was an all-terrain wheelchair.
I don't know where he gets this stuff from.
Oh yeah, I used to keep this stuff bottled up. You guys are bringing it out in me.
That's what I was watching this morning. I'm a little worried.
No, it's cool. It's
watching documents on camels, and now you're watching documentaries on wheelchairs.
They carry like months' supply of water, fat in their arms. Yeah, so they don't need water for months. They got it all, and then it's like a backpack full of water.
Yeah,
it's like a double canteen on the back.
Yes, it is on there.
Yeah. Go check out in the description box. You'll see that link on there, and that gives you like I think it's 30 or 35% off the list price, and then an additional 5% off with that code. So you'll like it, man. If you don't get it off my link or whatever, that's fine. But get
I'm going to be using it.
Yeah, you won't be disappointed. I promise you. You'll go. Why didn't I do this a long time ago? I'm really waiting for a camel blooper. It almost went there.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't have the lips for it.
Camels ride the all-terrain wheelchairs. Camels are kind of all-terrain wheelchairs by themselves. This thing was cool though, man. It had double handles, and you could move it like this, and it was like a zero-turn lawnmower basically is what it was. You could brake with this hand and pump like this, and you turn sideways. It's good stuff, man. You guys will see. You'll know. You go, hey, I heard that from THM like 2 years ago. Everybody will have them. All the kids will have them. Everybody's going to be getting them. It'd be like that red chatterbait, the red jackhammer. Everybody wanted. So, all right, man. We're rambling.
Yep. All right, guys. We will see you. Are you going to do it next week?
No, I'm with you, man. If you ain't in, I'm out.
I got somebody coming in from work from Kansas City, so I've got to kind of do some stuff with them. So I will not be available next week.
So 2 weeks.
So 2 weeks, guys, and we'll be back on. We'll be on Tin Horse Monty's channel. So
yeah, we'll do some social media posts. That way you guys will know when it's coming up.
Yep.
So.
And if you guys get some better ideas for topics, throw them out there. We are more than willing to listen. Trust me. It's not that we can't come up with something. It's just we don't want to bore you guys with other things. So if you guys see something hot that's coming up or whatever, and you can give us a couple days advance notice, that'd be great. Maybe it's something we haven't seen, or maybe it's a hot new lure coming up or whatever. Maybe we want to get it and try it or anything like that. So
yeah, great questions tonight too, man. Great questions tonight. Happy Father's Day to everybody. I saw somebody wishing a happy Father's Day. Whitewell, really? Thanks, man. You too.
Oh, yep.
That's
definitely,
man.
Yep. He's got a Bill Young in there. So
Gabe and Mr. Phil show.
All right, guys. We will see you in 2 weeks. Thanks.
All right.